I think that, just as the French say, you should be beautiful and smart. Both are necessary. Both are like a car and gas. You can't really do much with either or, but both together takes you quite far. Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobras Nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. So today's minimalism video is actually going to be talking about pretty privilege. I recently made a video on pretty privilege and that video performed really well. Seems like you guys did like that. So I figured I'd make another one. So for those of you who are new, you guys might not know that I didn't really get to experience pretty privilege until way later in life. I would say till probably after high school is when I kind of had more of a glow up. In university is when I started to kind of pay more attention to my appearance. Before that, I'd have to say my appearance probably wasn't very conventional. I didn't talk about them explicitly in the video that I had made, but I figured, you know what, I think you guys could enjoy the take from somebody who actually did experience it later on in life and what it was like to not have it before. Yeah, just a little bit of background info. This is what I used to look like in high school, and this is what I look like now. I know that pretty privilege is definitely a real thing. I'm not here saying that like it's not and whatever. I'm not gonna get into the politics of that. We're just gonna take it for what it is. I know what life was like to not have pretty privilege and what benefits do come when you do look more conventionally pretty. I have a couple of juicy story times included in this video to kind of illustrate my point. So I'm going to be talking about 10 things, and if that sounds good to you, then let's get right into the video. Let's get it. Let's go. Woo. Okay, so number one, I've had students tell me explicitly that they picked me over other teachers just based on my looks. So I'm not sure if it's because I look a little bit younger for my age, but I have had like even some of my adult students tell me that, yeah, they picked me based on my looks. So I'm not going to get into the whole like how I got picked and stuff like that, but yeah, they would tell me that between two contestants or two contenders, they would definitely pick the better looking person because like you have to look at their face, and whether that's fair or not is debatable, but I just wanted to share that in my experience, because you would think that in academia looks would not matter. At least I didn't think that they mattered. I always thought that if you were smarter, that was the most important thing or mattered more. But I've actually found that even in the real world, people are still people and people are still biased, and if they don't really know you and between two people with equal qualifications, they're gonna pick the prettier person. Comment down below if that has been an experience of yours in the academic field or not. Okay, number two, and this is the juicy one that I wanted to get into, and that is dating is a lot easier when you have pretty privilege. When I was in high school, I never had a boyfriend. I didn't get my boyfriend till the very end of grade 12 when I started to work on my, I guess, looks. But before that, there was this boy I had a really big crush on, and that's the juicy story that I want to get into to kind of illustrate my point that I'm not pretty privilege is definitely a real thing, and I do think that it does exist and it really does happen, even in like in an unfair way as it is, just based on looks. So there was this boy that I really liked through all 4 years of high school. I only liked him, and he was this really cute boy that was in my class. I liked him a lot, and I remember I used to always write in my diary how much I liked him. He wasn't the nicest of people, I'll be honest, upon like reflection, and I'll talk about that later. But yeah, I guess I didn't really know that at the time. All I knew is, again, pretty privilege. Maybe I wouldn't have liked him if he didn't look good, but yeah, he was very cute, very attractive, totally my ideal. And I remember actually my eating disorder started because of that. I'm not placing blame on him. It's 100% like me. I didn't have to let that comment affect me, but yeah, he's like, oh yeah, like Nat has a really big butt, and it was really triggering for me, and I developed an eating disorder shortly after that took me almost 15 years to get rid of. After that, I remember that I got a lot of attention in university. It didn't help my relationship with my boyfriend at the time, but after we broke up, I had no shortage of guys who wanted to date me. I was always told I was really pretty. I would always get taken out on dates. Guys always paid for the meals. I just had such good luck with dating, which was totally not the case in high school. And I know that it's based on looks because I started doing everything in my power to become conventionally beautiful, because I realized that that is a form of power. Take that as you will. So let me tell you about that guy. I finished university. Out of the blue, after I finished university, he just messages me on Facebook and he's like, hey, do you want to hang out? It's been, I think, the last time I saw him was grade 12 and I had finished university. So this was like 4 years later. That same guy that I really liked in high school messaged me. I was single at the time. I was in between boyfriends at that time, so I was like, yeah, okay, there's like no harm in meeting up. So we kind of went on like this really weird date, if you would even call it that. We just like chilled. He didn't really even explicitly say why he reached out, and I didn't really ask him why, but I thought it was really interesting. I still to this day do not know why he reached out, but anyway, on this date, I was hungry and I wanted to buy like a chocolate bar at the convenience store, so I went to go get it. And I'm accustomed now to guys paying for, you know, the first date, and he looked at me at the counter and we looked at each other, and he goes explicitly and he tells me, don't think that I'm paying for that. And that's kind of when I realized that his character has never and never was a good character. I mean, like, I kind of knew that he was kind of like a bad boy in high school, but I liked him so much that I overlooked it. But enough time had gone by and I had been treated so well by men for 4 years that by the time I saw him again when I was, how old are you? I think you're like 21 when you finish university. I was finally 21. I was grown, and I realized that I don't need to take this. And I don't know if he was interested in me. I don't know. He was the one who reached out to me. I was like super shocked. I was like, is this for real? I was really excited that he had reached out. I felt like, as stupid as it is, it was like fate. Like, he was finally noticing me 4 years later, as stupid as that is. And then I kind of realized that pretty privilege gave me the privilege to be able to see that some guys are actually, they're dusty. If I hadn't grown up, I don't think he would have even have reached out to me, or unless maybe he did. And maybe if I hadn't had such good experiences with other guys, I don't think that I would have, I think maybe we would have started something and I would have been stuck with a dusty dude. So it just kind of goes to show that dating is a lot easier. You get better quality access when you work on your looks. You don't tolerate certain things because you've invested in yourself. And I know that a lot of people are going to argue, yeah, but like
being pretty and this and that.
I'm coming from the perspective of somebody who did everything in her power to improve her looks. Like, I lost weight, I grew out my hair, I got better at makeup, I got laser hair removal, I started doing like my looks a certain kind of way. So I did everything in my power to looks max. I got braces, I got LASIK. Dating can be easier the prettier that you are. And I think it's just mutually exclusive to that. So take that as you will. Okay, number 3, I got hired for jobs. I was told at interviews that, like, I know this is probably not very professional, but I got told that I got chosen for jobs over other candidates just based on my looks or having a certain aesthetic. So I will leave that as it is. I don't want to get too much into that because, like, obviously I still need to work. So my camera just died, so I was like, I don't even know where I left off, but yeah. Okay, number 4, an increased amount of views on my channel. I've been YouTubing for about 5 years, and when I was more radical in my minimalism practice, I didn't wear makeup, I didn't dress up and stuff like that for the camera. My channel did not grow. My channel did not start to grow till about last year, and that's when I started wearing more makeup and like dolling up more. So take that as you will. This is all intentional. None of this is by accident. I didn't just wake up looking like this. It takes me about 20 minutes to like beat my face to like something quite pretty or decent for camera. Okay, number 5, better service. So I was actually talking to Will about this. I've noticed that when I doll up, I get better service than when I don't doll up. Some of these things include like free food. I have gotten free food, throw in an extra like some at Tim Hortons or at Starbucks. Like I can't make this up, guys. I've gotten really good service at retail stores. Just like, people are really helpful. People are really willing to help you out. I remember when I was in high school, people would completely ignore me in the store. I guess just, I don't know, maybe it didn't look like I had as much purchasing power. Who knows? Another thing is I get offered a lot of help at the stores, open the door for me. It's just like really small, intangible things. And I used to not believe when people would say like, oh yeah, I get helped a lot just because of the way that I look. I felt like it was so unfair. And I want to be the first to say that I do think it's really unfair. I really do believe that we should be treated well based on who we are as people, if we're good people. But unfortunately, as I've come to learn now that I'm in my 30s, to accept that just life is not fair. And so it is what it is. I'll be honest, I share this with my little Cobras because I kind of want to tell you guys that you should, to the best of your ability, strive for a better life. I think that, just as the French say, you should be beautiful and smart. Both are necessary. Both are like a car and gas. You can't really do much with either or, but both together takes you quite far. So don't just rely on your looks. You won't always have your looks, but at the same time, not investing in your looks won't open the door for you. And then people won't know how awesome you are. So have both if you can. Okay, number 6. I got sent free stuff. So you guys have seen on my channel that even though I'm a channel of minimalism, I still do talk about the things that I get sent for free. A lot of my clothes that I show on my channel are free. I've gotten sent free makeup. I've gotten sent free shoes. Also, I've gotten sent free skincare. So a lot of these things were sent to me for free. One, because of a YouTube channel, but primarily because before I got monetized, because being monetized and getting sponsorship are not two things that go hand in hand. Before I started looking better on camera, nobody was sending me anything for free. And I remember in 2020, I was like crying on the balcony telling Will that like no one wants to collab with me. I was always sending out emails to companies and nobody wanted to do anything with me, collab with me. I kept getting rejections from email. Like I kept getting like rejection emails saying that like, thank you so much, but like we currently have like people we'd rather do deals with, and it was just so heartbreaking. Once I decided that, you know what, I need to look the part, I need to look like an influencer, all I did was just up my looks. All I did was just put on makeup. All of a sudden now, you know, I've had brands do double collabs with me, you know, like, oh, I love that what we did last year, sweetie, let's do some more this year. It's just like, so it's kind of true when they say that pretty people do get free stuff. It's true. So if you are thinking of upping your looks as a woman, I definitely think you should, because free stuff waits at the end. Okay, number 7, you get treated better. I know this to be a fact because I remember when I wasn't considered conventionally pretty, people were not nice to me. I used to get bullied in school. It's just like, I've already made my peace with it, knowing that life is unfair, that you do get treated better when your looks are there. I've always thought myself to be a really kind and wonderful person, but nobody cared until I worked on my looks. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm super enlightened too. I judge people too. I also follow influencers, you know, who are nice, but primarily because they look good. We're only human, so I can't blame people too much for it. I just think that we should just arm ourselves with this knowledge that if people are shallow, then what can we do to better our lives with that information? Okay, number 8, I get complimented. I mean, like, not that that's like the most important thing in the world, but I definitely wanted to throw that in. I definitely do get complimented on my looks and things that are just irrelevant just because of my looks. I get complimented by people in the street, you know, great bag.
Love your hair. Oh my gosh, where'd you get your like shoes from? Like,
I also get complimented on my YouTube channel. I remember when there was nobody commenting on my YouTube channel, and I've been doing this for 5 years, so I know what it's like to be completely ignored. So I definitely do not take any of these things for granted. My pretty privilege, I earned it all by myself. Nobody sent me free makeup, nobody sent me free clothes till I started to look the part. So take this as you will. Number 9, people stare at you. I catch people looking at me. I don't say this to ego boost. I don't say this to brag, because it's all biological. You looking good is something that is innate in humans. We like to look at healthy, pretty things. We're just biologically designed like that. So I'm not here like patting myself on the back like, good job, people are giving you compliments and people are staring at you in public. But I'm not gonna lie, it is nice to get that kind of recognition. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and tell you that it's not, because I think that that would be me speaking ill of a privilege that I know what it's like to not have it. So I am very grateful when these things happen, you know, like if I go to the mall and like people are like looking or this or that, I do feel good. I feel like my hard work paid off. It makes me feel validated. It makes me feel like I'm on the right track, because that never happened before, which means that people looking means that you're doing something right. Okay, number 10, you get a longer leash. That's something that I've noticed. There were plenty of times where I did stuff at work that maybe were not of the highest grade, and I was like, I'm definitely gonna get scolded for it. Or even in university, when like sometimes I have disagreement with profs and stuff like that. But I remember I could kind of seem to always get my way, and I'm not saying that because I'm, you know, Machiavellian and I'm, you know, evil and I'm trying to take advantage of stuff. It's just like sometimes when you would just try to kind of get ahead, I felt like I would be given a longer leash. And it's something that Will said that he noticed too. I think that's the way that he kind of put it, because I was talking to him about it, and he's like, you just have a longer leash when you're prettier, and you're allowed more mistakes than I think that otherwise you wouldn't have. And that is something that I definitely have to say that I agree with. I'm definitely permitted more mistakes than I think that when I maybe didn't have certain looks. Like definitely profs would give me answers to tests when I'd ask for it. Definitely never happened. I was in high school. Teachers never helped me when I was in high school. But in university, they were more than happy to give me the answers to tests. Even in the workplace, sometimes where I'd be like, oh man, like my boss is gonna yell at me. My boss was just like, just do better next time. And I was like, huh. So I definitely do think that it is important to work on your looks, because in the workplace, money's involved and your looks and your money can be quite closely tied together. So I give this advice, not to say that, you know, go out and do mistakes because you're good looking. That's not what I'm trying to say, but I'm just trying to say you can definitely make your life a lot easier, both in the academic and workplace realm, just by working on your looks alone. Take that as you will. Say if you agree or disagree. I would love to hear it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.